Chrissy ASMR. Relax, sleep, dream. That's fine. Oh, hi. Oh, you haven't been standing here long, have you? I'm sorry. Well, I'm so glad you made it. I'm Aggie. Agatha. My friends call me Aggie. Well, if you call me Aggie, then I can say my friends call me Aggie. That'd be nice. What was I doing? Anyway, I don't know. I started studying before you got here. When Professor Gale told me to, when she asked me to tutor, I was very flattered, but also a little, intimidated. Yeah, just a little bit. When I saw your test scores, Oh, no, don't make that face. We're gonna fix it. At least, I hope. So, I think that we should start with going over exactly what a wizard is. And I think a good way to kind of explain, this side of like the arcane everything is to also talk about what we are not. So I'm going to explain a couple other of the magic classes as well. So where do I start? I didn't prepare anything. Professor Gale gave me a couple notes, but it's fine. So, we are wizards, brilliant wizards, high intelligence, always studying, nose always in a book, and then there are warlocks, who, I don't want to say they cheated or anything, but I definitely think they're cheaters. And then we have sorcerers, the naturally talented beings that walk the earth. Not all of us can be a sorcerer. So, a wizard gets their magic through study and hard work. And, the arcane it's such a romantic thing, and we're here to really master that, and we really didn't get a head start in life, but, we really refuse to go out of our way to cheat on anything, so that's fine. Which, speaking of cheating, brings me to warlocks. They simply got their magic by asking for it, for the small price of your soul. Sure, they can do like cool stuff and everything, but it's your soul, It's, one second. Sometimes Professor Gale tells me to work on my breathing, and my breathing exercises. I get a little, when I talk about warlocks, Anyway, a warlock has something called a patron, and they are these like crazy otherworldly beings, and they give you like all kinds of magical stuff, you know. I hear the great old ones, I hear they kind of just let you roam free and kind of do whatever you want. They're very hands off. But then you have stuff like archfey. You're messing around with a fae, and that's just crazy. You know what I mean? Like, fairies are nuts. It's hey, go, can you do me a favor and go, like, pick some flowers? And the next thing you know, you're cutting off your party member's fingers or something. I don't know how they work. I could be, over exaggerating, but I don't think I am. I think that's definitely something that could happen with an archfey. So is it really worth it, to Eldritch Blast when you could just study for years and years and years? No. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. I don't think you can really trust a warlock. Imagine, like, talking to one and then... do I sound like I'm getting off track? I'm sorry. I was just saying, imagine you're talking to one and then they, like, stab you and then they're like, oh, sorry, my patron told me to, and... okay, back on track. What was I talking about? Oh, sorcerers. So, sorcerers, cool. They are magically imbued all over themselves. Their power comes from within. So, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's... yeah, she's born with it. So, people would consider them, magical prodigies or naturally talented. So, but this is why we have to work so hard. We get a bad rap for, being nerds, but that's fine. I think we're great. So, what I want to do with you is go over a couple of cantrips. So, one second. The first one I wanted to go over with you is Prestidigitation. It's really fun and it's really easy. This one is considered, I guess, one of the easier ones. It's great for, like, just novice spellcasters and stuff. Let me see if I can find the definition in my book. Did you bring your book with you? No. Oh, that's fine. Did you bring anything with you? No. Okay. I have spare stuff. That's fine. Can I pass it? Oh no, I'm sorry. You think I did? Oh, I found it. Perfect. So if you look on page 267, in your player's handbook, then you'll find exactly what Prestidigitation is. So, it is part of the School of Transmutation. It is a cantrip. And remember, cantrips are great because you can use them whenever, as many times as you want, and there's no cost. The casting time is 1 action. The range is 10 feet. Components, verbal and... oh no. What is that? It doesn't matter. You have to say it, but it's not. It's V and S. It's okay. So the duration can last up to one whole hour. It's great. So this spell is a minor magical trick that novice spellcasters, that's you, use for practice. You create one of the following magical effects within range. So here are some of the things that you can do. You create an instantaneous, harmless sensory effect, such as a shower of sparks, or a puff of wind, okay, a faint musical note, or an odd odor. So, I'm not gonna do, oh no, I'm dropping stuff. We'll go over this later. I'm not gonna do the odd odor here thing because we're in the library and there are other people in the room with us, and I think that would be very rude. You can also instantaneously light or snuff out a candle, a small torch, or a small campfire. I'm not going to do that either because, again, there are other people around. You can instantaneously clean or soil an object no larger, than 1 cubic foot. It's really nice when it's been a while since you've done laundry and you just go Prestidigitation and then it's clean. It's not sound. What is that word? V and S. It's verbal, and I think it's... what is the S? You think I would know this? I normally have everything because it's verbal something. M is material. What is that word? Anyway, let's see. You can make a color, a small mark, or a symbol appear on an object or surface for 1 hour. Or you create a non-magical trinket or illusory image that you can fit into your hand, and it lasts until the end of your next turn. So, this is really fun. Prestidigitation. Look, it's a thing. Boop. So that's always fun. If you cast the spell multiple times, you can have up to 3 of its non-instantaneous effects active at a time, and you can dismiss such an effect as an action. So that's Prestidigitation. I think it's really cool, and there are a lot of handy uses for it. It's a lot of fun to show people, so I'm really glad that you're actually sitting here and listening to me. That doesn't happen too often. Anyway, so the next one that I wanted to go over was think message. I think that one will be easy. What was that? Oh, I said, and you can dismiss such an effect as an action. Oh, an action is, it's something that you can do within the majority of a round. So a round is, see under duration, right there, sometimes it'll say a round, or an hour, or instantaneous, or, 10 minutes. Basically, it is, I would say, a unit of measurement. A round is a unit of measurement that consists of about 6 seconds. And it's just a way to measure something, measure how long something generally takes. There are also things called bonus actions. So I would say a regular action could take up to maybe 4 seconds, and then a bonus action would take 2 seconds. And of course you can also run and do whatever, and people are pretty fast. You still have time to move. Just remember that a round is 6 seconds, and 10 rounds in a minute, and yeah, it's not too bad. So you know what, make sure you take notes on that. You don't have anything with you. Okay, I'll write it down for you. Okay, 1 second. Ooh, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't know why I was writing it on the piece of paper that Let me get a new fresh piece of paper for you. So. And then we were going to go over message, right? We haven't done that yet, right? Okay. Message is very important, I think. But don't use it during class. I know you don't know what it is yet, but maybe you do. I'm not going to assume anything, You could surprise me. And then, And I'm also Prestidigitation. This spell is really nice. It's a great practice spell because you don't need any material components. And just so you know, it's also part of the Transmutation School of Magic. I think I said that earlier, but Oh, the schools? Oh, wow, we have a lot to go over. Have you been here at all this semester? You know what? That's fine. I shouldn't ask people that. Come on, Aggie. You're not gonna make any friends. No one's gonna call you Aggie, and it's fine. The Transmutation School of Magic consists of spells that change the physical properties of a creature, a thing, condition of something. Here at the academy, you can choose your specialty or your school of magic or your major at first level, which you should be getting there soon. There are 8 schools of magic, and we can definitely go over that later. I think Miss Gale, Professor Gale, sorry, I knew her before coming to the academy, so I have troubles with calling her professor. Yeah, I think she actually, she did want me to go over that with you, and that's fine. Anyway, let's focus on a little bit of the easier cantrips right now, and then we'll jump into the schools and just kind of touch base on those. So It'll be fine. Studying's what we do best after all. Message. So message is, you can find this one on page 'I'm going too far again. Minor illusion's really cool. Message. Also a transmutation cantrip. So, unlike Prestidigitation, you do need a material component. So, I actually have that with me. Let me read to you what it does. You point your finger towards a creature within range. Oh, you know what? Let me grab this first. Oh, that's not it. Nope. It's in here somewhere. Where? I have a lot of stuff in here. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. My key. My dorm key. I can finally sleep in my bed tonight. I found it. Okay. So for this one, you need a short piece of copper wire. So you point your finger, oops, I'm dropping stuff again. You point your finger towards a creature within range and you whisper a message. The target and only the target can hear the message and can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. So here's our copper wire. Oh goodness.
Hi, it's Aggie, and I hope that we can become great friends. You can reply to this message.
Did you get it? Oh, you're not gonna reply. That's fine. Anyway, so that's, that's nice. The range is 120 feet, which is awesome. So, if we also get maybe you a piece of copper wire, then when, if we're very far across, like, the mess hall or something, then we can talk to each other. So, let's see. Yeah, so that's fine. And the rest is fine. You can find this on page 259 if you want to check it out later. So what I have here is a bag of material components. So when we cast spells, we either need something like this or we need something called an arcane focus. An arcane focus is a special item. It's like, it can be like an orb, a crystal, a rod, a little wand, or like a wand like length of wood. It's, kind of, it helps us focus. They're usually there to help channel those arcane spells and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, whatever works best for you. I kind of carry both. I just stress out sometimes. I'm really glad I found my key. I'm gonna put this back in here though. I'll remember it's there. That's fine. I'm also gonna put this down. We don't need that right now. We're just studying. So being a wizard, we have our own spell book. This is actually mine. I should get another one because I end up taking notes in class in it. And Professor Gale told me that's not the best thing you can do. I also have this. I'm gonna actually put this down. And put this right here so we can look. Let me take a few more notes for you. So when we start off, like I said, we have our own spell book, and we start off knowing a few spells of our own. We can always go and like find scrolls that have spells and then copy those into our book. And that's really how we learn more spells apart from leveling up. At first level, you should know 3 cantrips. We went over 2. You should go back and see which ones you are interested in. And then we know 6 first level spells, and I'll go over a couple of those also while we go over the schools of magic. So at first level, we have the ability to cast 2 spells per long rest. The reason for only 2 is we only have 2 spell slots, and we do get more spell slots eventually, but I'm not going to go over that right now. I think, I don't know, I don't want to overwhelm you. I know this is a lot of information. I'm sorry. Maybe this is why people don't talk to me. Anyway, a long rest is 8 hours long. I don't know if I said that. Just make sure when you have one that, you're not interrupted or you have to start over. So if you're going to sleep or doing something like that, that's fine. And then a short rest would be about an hour. I'm not going to go into that though, like I said. You did land in a remedial class, so I don't want to confuse you. Oh, I didn't say anything. So anyway, as you continue your journey along the wizard path, you gain access to more and more powerful spells, like spells with better utility, and it's super cool. If you kind of look ahead, you can see like a lot of the fun stuff that we will end up doing. So at first level, I'm thinking, first level we start with 6 first level spells. Every time we gain a level, we get two access to 2 new spells, which is super cool. Some of my favorites are Find Familiar, and Charm Person, and even like Mage Armor is really handy if you are interested in that like adventure life. I think it's maybe could be considered a necessity. Of course, maybe not, it just kind of depends. It's just a little extra cushion from anyone that would mean harm to you, Our armor class is very, very low, so yeah, that's fun. Find Familiar is fun because you get a little cute cat, and it can help you out, and not just cats, actually. Something funny. Sometimes I sit this next to me. It looks like a little crow, so people think that I'm busy with my familiar, but it's just a little statue. When I study by myself over here, I kind of just want to be left alone. But I do have I brought some of my flashcards with me. And I have the Find Familiar spell. So you gain the service of a familiar, which is a spirit that takes an animal form you choose. So it can be a bat, a cat, a crab, a frog, toad, a hawk, a lizard, a horse, a spider, or a weasel. Let's see. Your familiar acts independently of you, but always obeys your command. You know, fun stuff. You can look it up yourself. That's okay. It says it's on page 240, which I won't click. Or not click, I won't flip. So that's super fun. I think let's try to wrap this up a little. Not too much. We still have a little bit longer. But I think just enough time for us to go over the schools of magic. So there are 8 schools. Illusion, transmutation, conjuration, abjuration, evocation, divination, necromancy, and enchantments. Is that? Yeah. Okay, that sounds right. So at first level, when you choose a school, let me also flip. I'm gonna put this down while I talk about this. So when you choose a school, this will be called your arcane tradition. And then starting at second level, when you add a spell or put one in your spell book that you find, the cost of it will be halved, and we'll go over the cost later. It's fantastic to have a specialty, but picking that specialty is also very important depending on what you want to do with your magic. It takes a lot of gold and a lot of time, so when that's halved, it's really nice. Really how we operate is, you know, when we get more spells, the stronger we become, especially with each level. But if we happen upon a cool spell that we like and we just want to throw it in there and we haven't leveled up or anything, you know, just go into the bookstore and you find something, then I think it takes 2 hours to copy that into our book, and it also is like 50 gold. Material. Oh, perfect. Found it. If you want to learn more about what we do, you can also go to page 112. There's a lot of stuff in here that's super handy. So, I am going to read copying a spell into the book for you. When you find a wizard spell of first level or higher, you can add it to your spell book. Add it to your spell book if it's of a level for which you have spell slots, and you can spare the time to decipher and copy it. So you can't just go into like a magic shop and then pick something up and be like, oh my goodness, wish, and then just put it in your thing real quick. It takes a while. Okay, it takes a while, and it makes sense, you know. It's rough, because then you have to you really have to study it, you know what I mean? You really have to appreciate it. It's getting cold. Another great thing about Prestidigitation is it can flavor stuff, and sometimes when I only have water on me and I forget my cocoa, I can just make it taste like hot cocoa. It's really nice. Did I say this already? I don't know. I have no idea. It also warms stuff up, which is super awesome and great for when you're in the library for a couple hours. Anyway, Copying a spell into your spellbook involves reproducing the basic form of the spell, then deciphering the unique system of notation used by the wizard who wrote it. You must practice the spell until you understand the sounds or gestures required, and then transcribe it into your spellbook using your own notation. Like I said, it's rough. For each level of the spell, the process takes 2 hours and costs 50 gold pieces. The cost represents material components you expend as you experiment with the spell to master it, as well as the fine inks you need to record it. Once you have spent the time and money, you can prepare the spell just like other spells. So, I think it's great. Let's see. Trying to think. Give me 1 second. Here, you know what? You take this, and I want you to just read over some of the stuff that I wrote down. Take a couple notes of yourself. Let's just take a break for just a minute. Let me make sure. Okay, I think I'm going over this right. I know this seems like a lot, but if you stick with your specialty, you can save some money. So make sure you pick carefully and really kind of go over what's out there. Now don't just get wild and think you can just pick from everything, which, I mean, I guess if you have the time and the resources, you really can, but we can't just willy-nilly just say, oh, well, I have this, let me do this. Each morning you have to prepare your spells. So I like to do that by, write your notes. I like to do that, like, I'll wake up and then I'll have a morning cup of tea, or I will, like, have some cocoa. The amount of spells that you were able to prepare is going to be your intelligence modifier, plus your wizard level. So if you have 20 intelligence, it'll be 5, then plus whatever, whatever level you are. And it has to be something you can actually cast. You can't just go find something crazy like Wish, like I said, and then just bring it out with you. Has to be, you can actually cast it, because, you're smart, you get it. Let me see. What else? You need to also, think about what you're probably going to be doing tomorrow. You need to have a little bit of foresight there and, use your brain. So you can change your list of prepared spells when you finish a long rest. Preparing a new list of wizard spells requires time spent studying your spell book and memorizing the incantations and gestures you must make to cast the spell for at least 1 minute per spell level for each spell on your list. So, like I said, just be a little more, write this down, be kind of careful and think things through. So let's go over the schools. I know you're excited for this. Abjuration. Here we are. These are basically spells that protect, block, banish. An abjuration specialist is called an abjurer. Write that down. So you would have spells like shield, snare, mage armor is on that list. Again, it's really great. Protection from evil and good, all those would go into that category. And then, remember, these are called arcane traditions. Page 115. Conjuration. So spells that bring creatures or materials to the caster, and a conjuration specialist is called a conjurer. So Find Familiar is a great example of that. Also Unseen Servant, and let me actually go over that for you, because Unseen Servant is awesome. Shillelagh. That one's kind of cool. Not for us, druids. If only. I would love to be a druid. But I don't like dirt. And other reasons. Did I go too far again? Okay. This spell creates, Unseen Servant, this spell creates an invisible, mindless, shapeless, medium force that performs simple tasks at your command until the spell ends. That was a lot for a little. I could have just said that or kind of explained. Also, Fog Cloud is cool. It makes a fog cloud. Yeah. Okay, my prepared examples don't sound as cool as I thought. But I'm only going over spells that you can learn. There's cooler stuff later on. Then Divination. Super, super nice. So they are spells that basically reveal information. You would be called a diviner if you were a specialist in this. So let's see. Unlike other, let me think. So this one's nice because diviners are usually sought out by like nobles, and well, I guess there's also business among commoners. Everyone really seeks understanding in the past, present, and the future. So it's a great job market. Some examples for those at first level would be comprehend languages, which is, what it sounds like. You understand pretty much the literal meaning of what you hear, even if, you don't know it. You can also decipher text as long as you're touching it. I think it takes about 1 minute to read a page of text. There is also Identify, which is always nice to have available. You have to be touching the object that you wish to identify the whole time while you're casting this spell. If it's a magic item, then you can learn its properties and how to use them, whether it takes like attunement to use or like how many charges it has, and all that good stuff. And let's see, I think my favorite though is Detect Magic. So you kind of just go in a room and you do this, and you can pick up any kind of magical items that are in the room and what school they're from. whatever is bearing magic. One time I went into Professor Gale's office and I used detect magic, and oh my goodness, everything lit up. It was like Hogswatch, you know, like it was just, you know, not literally or whatever, but that entire room is magical and I loved it. But, you know, goodness, it was really cool. So then we have the School of Enchantment. Spells that, these are just spells that have, imbue the recipient, oh goodness, recipient, I don't know, it makes, someone or something, like, you know, the caster has power over another being and stuff, so that's always nice. Someone that uses enchantments or specialist, you know, is called a enchanter. Easy. Some easy ones you should know would be like charm person or sleep, which is also nice. There's also something called hideous laughter, or excuse me, Tasha's hideous laughter. I guess I'll give her that credit. So I actually have that. Oh, go back. Oh, charm person. You can get in trouble with this one, but it's a lot of fun. So for charm person, it says you attempt to charm a humanoid that you can see within range. It must make a wisdom saving throw and does so with advantage if you or your companions are fighting it. If it fails the saving throw, it is charmed by you until the spell ends or until you or your companions do anything harmful to it. The charmed creature regards you as a friendly acquaintance. When the spell ends, the creature knows it was charmed by you. So the duration is 1 hour. I'm not a huge fan of this. Well, if you're never going to see them again, it's fine, but the fact that they do know later on is a little terrifying. But, you know, anyway. Tasha's hideous laughter. I forgot I have my charm person one. So a creature of your choice that can you can see within range perceives everything as hilarious, and it falls into just fits of laughter, and it can fall prone, and prone is, you know, when you're on the ground, and just all this stuff. If it fails, let's see, at the end of its turn, it can take damage, but we're not too worried about that. You know, just look it up. It's super nice. Evocation. A specialist is called an evoker. So evocation are spells that manipulate energy, or create something from nothing. This class, this school of magic has a lot of like damage stuff going on. So it's super good if you need that. I guess just depending on your lifestyle. So Earth Tremor, I know, is a great area of effect spell. It'll cause like ground tremors that can cause damage to people. Witch Bolt is also a good attack, and I think Magic Missile could be something that you're interested in. If you want to go down that alley, make sure you look these up during independent study, and taking notes is important. Let's see. Illusion. if you are an illusion specialist, you're called, an illusionist. So these are just spells that alter someone's perception or create false images or just, fun stuff like that. Disguise self is a great example. I know I brought that one. Maybe I didn't. Oh no. Yes, okay. It's a great all-around spell, especially if you're trying to be a little sneaky. Most wizards I know, well, most spellcasters I know, do recommend this one, especially if you're going out to join that fancy schmancy adventuring lifestyle. Here it reads, you make yourself, including your clothing, armor, weapons, and other belongings on your person, look different until the spell ends or until you use an action to dismiss it. You can seem 1 foot shorter, taller, or you can appear thin, fatter, in between. You can't change your body type, so you have to adopt a form that has the same basic arrangements of limbs and stuff. Otherwise, apart from that, the extension of the spell is up to you. If someone does suspect that you are using this, they can make a intelligence check against your spell save DC, and they can discern that it is, an illusion, and so they will be able to tell that it is a disguise. So just be careful and be smart. The changes that it brings will not hold up to a physical inspection. So, if I were to make my arm and someone were to poke, they would just poke right through. So just be aware of that. Here's the next one. Necromancy. So it is a spell that can manipulate, create, or destroy life or a life force. A necromancy specialist is called a necromancer. I will let you independently study this on your own. I find necromancy especially interesting. And lastly, we have transmutation. So these are spells that transform the recipient physically or change its properties in a more subtle way. A transmutation specialist is called a transmuter. So this one is also really interesting. The first level spells really just kind of make life easier. Like feather fall. Well, yeah, I would say they make life easier an adventure lifestyle. Hopefully you don't need these spells in your day-to-day stuff, but you never know. I won't judge. Well, I'll judge a little, but it's fine. So like feather fall. For example, you and 4 of your closest friends, so 5 people total, if they're falling, you can use this to slow that fall down to 60 feet per round, and then you guys would take no fall damage when this happens. I think that's all I have to go over with transmutation. There's other stuff, but remember, write this down. Independent study. You have to do a lot of this by yourself, like I did, and a lot of the other kids in class. I don't really know what Miss Professor Gale sees in you, but that's fine, So may I? Thank you. I'm gonna write this down for you. because I think it's important, and yeah. A cool way or fun way to remember the schools I saw once is, so illusion. You make someone look like a frog. And then transmutation. You turn someone into a frog. And then we have enchantment. You make someone think they're a frog. And then conjuration. You make a frog appear. Abjuration. You protect the frog. Evocation. You kill the frog. But necromancy. You revive the dead frog. And then divination is you know that it was actually a toad and not a frog the whole time. So I saw that once and I thought it was funny. Did you like that? It's just something silly. So, oh goodness, look at the time. So we have gone over quite a lot. I hope I helped. Remember, I'm just a student, just like you. Please tell Professor Kale that I helped out. I think you've done a great job, and I hope I was helpful. If you do need help again, please let Professor Kale know. And then she'll tell me, don't just come straight to me. I would really like a little more extra credit. So I guess I'll see you in class later, right? Here. Let me give this to you. Page of notes. So I'm going to stay and study a little longer. You don't have to stick around. You can if you want. Remember, tell Professor Kale that Aggie helped. Or Agatha, however, whatever you want to call me. So, I think I'm never good at tying these. Make good choices and have an intelligent day. I'll see you later, okay? Maybe.